Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Morrison County Planning Commission public hearing for today, pardon me?
Board of Adjustment.
Board of Adjustment. Oh, I've got the wrong page here.
Go to the other side of the folder.
I used to- Okay, we'll start over again here. Good evening. Welcome to Morrison County Board of Adjustment public hearing for today's date, which is August 5th, 2025. Please stand for the flag pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a few items to cover before we get started. Please sign in at the door if you have not already done so. There you will also find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure which we will follow tonight. If you wish to take one, please put any electronic devices on a silent mode also at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Board of Adjustment are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners, with one member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Services staff is here to assist the Board of Adjustment with its duties. The task of the Board of Adjustment is to consider requests for variances and appeals in an order, requirement, or decision made by the county zoning official in accordance with the state law and county ordinance. Each request is considered on its own merit. The burden of proving a practical difficulty rests with the applicant. If a variance is granted, it is granted to the land, not the landowner. There is also a protocol for how we will proceed tonight. For each variance request, the agenda we will hear a staff report, hear testimony from the applicants, and then the board will discuss it and gather more information as needed. Next, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the request. I will ask each party to come to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After all testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of this process. The board will then review and discuss the case in terms of facts and findings criteria, as required by the Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We will have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made, and have final motion to approve or deny the request based on those findings. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. Tonight, we have 3 items on the agenda. Our first one is Betty Kaiser, 2246 West Shamana Drive, Motley, Minnesota, 56466. Application for variance to encroach on the right-of-way of a lake with a dwelling, garage, and deck to exceed the allowable impervious surface located in Lot 22 of Hogg's First Edition of Hogg's Outlets, Section 18, Township 132, Range 31, Scandia Valley Township. Would you please come forward here, Betty, and sit at the table? So this evening, would you state your name and address for the record here?
James Kaiser, previously of 2246 West Shamana Drive, but that house burned to the ground, so we're not there right now. But that was our home.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Betty Jean Kaiser, and 2246 West Shamana Drive. was our home for 60-some years. It's been in my family.
Okay, thank you. And, okay, thank you much. And here, what is it, for you to know, I was there, I wasn't able to view it on Friday. I had a few things going. So Sunday I came and I spent a little bit of time over there. So how about the rest of the staff? When were you able to view?
Mr. Chair, the rest of the Board of Adjustment viewed with me on Friday.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, staff report for this variance at this time, please.
Yep, Mr. Chair, this is a variance request to construct a dwelling and a deck within the shore impact zone, construct a garage within setback to the right-of-way, and exceed the allowable impervious surface. The ordinance sections that apply to this is 705.6, that sets a maximum lot coverage of impervious surface of 25%. 706.1 requires a 75-foot setback from a general development lake. And shore impact zone for general development lakes is 50 feet. And a 30-foot setback is required from township road right-of-way. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue. And then here's some oblique imagery of the property as well. And this is a view from the lake. And here's a site drawing provided by the applicant. And then here's some site photos taken at the viewing on August 1st. According to the assessor's records, the original 675 square foot dwelling was built in 1970, and it is, or was, 39 feet from the lake. In the spring of 2024, the dwelling and garage burned down. The structures were a total loss. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 394.36 Subdivision 4 and Ordinance Section 301.6B, if a nonconformity is destroyed by fire to the extent of greater than 50% of its estimated market value, and no building permit is applied for within 180 days, any subsequent use or occupancy of the land must be conforming. The applicant proposes utilizing the existing foundation to construct the following: a new dwelling 39 feet from the lake, a lakeside deck 31 feet from the lake, a detached garage 10 feet from the road right-of-way, and establish 47.5% impervious surface. I have received an email from the applicant with a reduction in that, and I'll go over that with you. Here's the survey that was provided with a few things highlighted: the building envelope, the setback from the lake, and the setback from the road. And then here are criteria questions, Mr. Chair. Again, I did receive some communication from the applicant today. And I'm gonna go back to the survey, just to give you an idea of the location of these. So, the email that I received that they're willing to reduce the driveway to the width of the garage and remove rock on the sides, which amounts to 420 square feet. They'd also remove the paver bricks on the other side of the driveway, which would be 300 square feet. And then they'd also reduce the patio paver blocks towards the neighbor by 94 square feet. And then the block from the house to the lake, which is 237 square feet. So they're proposing a reduction of 1,051 square feet, which would reduce that impervious surface down to 35%. And so I just want to verify with the applicant the areas because I was trying to pinpoint which areas. So can you see that okay? Is this the paver patio area or that you were talking
That
about?
we're proposing to remove.
Okay, so that is the 300 square feet
That is correct.
right here?
Yes.
Okay. And then the paver blocks towards the neighbor. Can you clarify for me
It's
Keep
way
going
down
that way.
this way?
Yep, with your arrow. Keep
Okay.
going, right there.
Okay,
Now,
so this
You
area?
can see the house line, we're talking both sides, beyond the house, all the way to the lake. Everything will be removed. And there's a little bit more to the right in that area.
Okay, so it would be this and then what was in front?
It's about half of, all of that would be removed towards the lake from the house line.
Okay.
So on both sides.
Okay, sounds good. I just wanted to make sure I understood the
Yep.
areas that you were
And
looking
the
at.
other, I forget how much, 94 square feet.
And then so it was 94 square feet was the paver blocks towards neighbor.
Would be about half of that, a little bit on the right there, yes.
Okay? And then this area here in front.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But the
So-
paver block, we were not proposing to remove the slab that was originally
Correct.
there because that could undermine the footings.
So, Mr. Chair, at this time, are you asking to amend your application to maintain 35% impervious surface rather than the 47.5?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any corrections or any input you would like to make?
I'd like to, can I speak?
Yes,
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for pledging allegiance to our flag. I am a veteran. I was willing to die for this country. I took my job very seriously, and I am also a disabled veteran. But with that said, what we're asking here today is that you approve this on the grounds that of fairness. It would be unreasonable to us, and I believe that the county says hardship due to unique circumstances of the property not created by us. And that hardship was the fire that destroyed our home. There's 4 fire departments there, Scandia Valley, Staples, Randall, and it was 4. And it was a huge mess, and they sprayed foam on the fire. And we couldn't get anybody to get and remove the debris. No matter how hard we tried,
Anybody did.
we couldn't make the 180 days. It's a hardship that we couldn't meet that 180 days.
And we didn't know that, we were told you only had, well, we had to do the septic. We weren't aware of anything at that point. We were gonna apply for the permits. By the time, everything got done, we knew we had to get permits, but we didn't know anything about the 180 days besides the septic. And we were told that, and we did that right away last fall, and that was in compliance. But we didn't know about anything else that we needed. And it was just terrible. I mean, we were trying to find things that were left. We were looking for a pet. I mean, it was horrible. And then nobody would take it, and we couldn't get anybody to haul it. I mean, and then by the time we got it removed, it was winter. And we didn't know. I mean, we would have done the permits. We didn't know. We were told only the septic, and we would have done everything earlier, but we didn't know. Nobody said anything.
thank you. And thank you for your service. I appreciate that. At this time, we have board members got any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Bren.
couple of questions. First question, you got the right slide up there, Amy. That building envelope that is there, we try to get conforming structures to go back in, but it looks like that building envelope, based upon the size of the lot, wouldn't support maybe a small cabin. I don't know what that square footage is because it's kind of odd shape, but I'm guessing it's a pretty small footprint.
Mr. Chair, I believe the surveyor quantified it Let me just double check, but yes, it is a very small lot to begin with. And then, of course, with all of those setbacks, let me see. 753 square feet is what that building envelope is.
Okay, thank you. And then, just for clarification, in the report, it said that the original cabin in 1970 was 675 square feet, but
Correct.
it would appear that the slab and existing structure, or what's left out there, is much larger than that. So would there have been other variances in the past or whatever that allowed that to be
Yes.
larger?
Yep, so Mr. Chair, yes, originally it was a 675 square foot dwelling. There were a series of after-the-fact variances and actually a legal settlement to keep some of the after-the-fact work that had expanded that cabin that is detailed in your staff report. And so, yes, to the structure as of 2024 was much larger than that original cabin or dwelling that was there.
Okay, thank you. And to the applicants, a question, Betty or James, whoever can answer this, the proposed square footage of this new home, is it 1,080? Is it 24 by 45? Is that,
And a half, I think.
okay,
think
yep,
it was-
0.6.
1,104 by memory, I think,
But it's on the same.
on the exact same footprint
Okay.
that was there.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Amy.
from here, it looks like the house is proposed to be 24 by 45 and a half. And then the garage, 24 by 32. And then, of course, then the deck would be 8 feet deep and 24 wide.
Any more questions, Brent?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman?
Go ahead, George.
So Amy, if they would have applied for a permit, how long would that permit have been good for?
2 years.
2 years. So they could, after the house burned, even though it wasn't cleaned up, they could have applied for a permit and
Correct.
they would have been good.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Clint.
this first one probably for Amy. So they missed their deadlines to get their, what they had there rebuilt. Okay, with these variances and stuff, being that there's variances that includes that, right? Or how does that work, being some of this was a variance? Like they had the garage was a variance and it got put on, they would have had to write, if they would have did it right away, to get everything they had, even though it had a variance. Is that correct?
Yes, what we would have done in this was reviewed as far as what their rights would have been for replacement, because what was legally established was that 675 square foot dwelling. And then by variance, then the remainder of it essentially became legal, because that's essentially what you do with a variance, is you're allowing that. So the replacement right would have been extended to the original, and then everything on the variance had been secured for.
Okay. Appreciate your guys', after talking with you Friday, appreciate your guys' efforts to mitigate some of the impervious surface. That tells that you want your house, we know that, but also that you're concerned with making things as close to compliance as we can get them, as far as when it comes to the environment and things like that. So thank you for that, for putting that effort in. So then, on your new amended application, basically, you were gonna go, and we talked about that Friday, is your driveway, you were gonna make it the same width as the garage. So then you were gonna change the rest of that into grass, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Towards the tank is gone now, it'd be to the left.
yep.
And
And
the
then.
block to the right would be removed.
Okay. And then also, I think we talked about it Friday, but I can't remember, what was said for sure. You know, when you sit at that lot and you look, majority of that lot slopes towards the road and not towards the lake, so that's kinda good. Was there plans to put gutters on the house and
Yes,
stuff to move it all
There was before,
towards?
and we will
Okay.
do that again.
Okay,
The roof line will run with the lake there this
Yep.
way, with
Yep.
gutters going back towards the garage and
Okay.
to the driveway.
okay, so you plan on doing that, so if we'd make it a condition that, they would be, guttered and pushed towards the road, then you're fine with that? Okay, Amy, you wanna write that down? If you would, please, yes. Okay, I think that's all I had for right now.
Thank you, Clint. So I have a few questions here too. At the time I went to see this here, I looked at it. Boy, you had a lot going on there, a lot of impervious surface, and sorry what you're going through here. But I appreciate what you're trying to do is mitigate lowering your impervious surface down, because the way I look at this here, you look at Shamana Lake and water issues and all these homes and cabins that were built, and when it rains hard, it goes right to that lake and raising the lake level, and who's paying for pumping that water out now? Us as taxpayers. So how do we continue to do this here? So also, as I was looking at this here, question was, but you, I think you addressed this about moving the home away from the shore impact zone, or now I think I read something about, as per the county, may have to raise the cabin. Is there any word about that, Amy?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Amy.
On Shamana, the floodplain has become effective, floodplain regulations have become effective. And so there is rules about what elevation that lowest floor needs to be at. The surveyor did shoot elevations, and the existing foundation is a couple inches shy. So there will have to be a little bit of work on ensuring that that lowest floor is at or above the regulatory floodplain elevation. But it's not going to be a real drastic thing, but they're aware of that, and they will be working with their contractor to make sure that that happens.
Okay, thank you. Then another is, if this variance is approved, Clint talked about gutters. I'm thinking about a stormwater management plan. Was there any thoughts about having a stormwater management plan done and seeing what you can do to help alleviate some of the issues at Shamana Lake?
Yeah, we'd be willing to look at that.
We have not discussed that, to be honest with you, but we're willing to do that.
Okay, and that may be something that should be put into conditions. I don't know how the rest of you feel about it, but, you know,
I don't know what that is.
but that's one thing I look at. So another thing, I'm gonna have, any word from the township, because you're gonna be encroaching on a township road there?
Mr. Chair, the surveyor worked with the township to identify where exactly they claim their right-of-way. So they are aware of this request. They've received the packet. They have not provided any comment, but they're aware of this request and the encroachment.
Okay. Well, at this time, that's all I have. Anybody from the board have any more questions? Well, then I'm going to ask for public input. Anyone from the audience that would like to speak on this request? Anyone from the audience that would like to speak on this request? Third and final time, anyone from the audience like to speak on this request? Well, going forward, I believe We need to go over our facts and criteria questions here.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I did have one more question.
Go ahead, George.
So that area between the house and the garage, so the garage is going to be separate from the house? It's not going to be attached?
We were originally asked that, and I believe we made the plan that way, but there's currently a slab there. So we want to make sure that we're not creating any other problems if that were to remain concrete between the house and the garage, but no building,
So, Mr. Chair,
correct?
Go ahead, Amy.
to clarify, I think the question was that the house and garage are going to be
Separate.
detached.
Yes.
That is the plan,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was asking. Yes,
But
thanks, Amy.
but it was previously attached, and there's still a slab there, is what I'm saying. But to remove that slab could again create issues with the current footings there. So I believe it was an 8-foot space between the
I believe
house
so.
and the garage.
And-
It would be not attached.
And there was a slab underneath that
Yeah.
Because it
wood
was-
that there was there,
Correct.
okay.
Yes, sir, it was attached before.
Okay.
That's why I
Okay,
was.
I just wanted clarification on that. Thank you. I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, thank you. Okay, is the request in harmony with the general,
Do you want to ask them if there's anything they'd like to add before we go
Okay.
to the criteria?
thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go through the criteria questions here?
Well, like, the deck, we're not going out any further, and we're not, don't even want the, enclose the bottom. I mean, it would actually be less living space, and, wouldn't be any closer to the lake or any closer than the neighbors. They actually have living space there, but, we're not asking for any extension, like the deck, that was always there from 1970.
Previously, it was actually enclosed house below the deck, and we're not asking for that. So we're actually, technically, the living space is further away from the lake than it was. And further away from the lake, not that it necessarily matters than the neighbors, if you look at the survey.
And Mr. Chair, just as you go through the criteria questions, remember there are several asks here, and make sure you address and incorporate all of those, and that you address all of those because you're being asked to encroach on the right-of-way with the garage, encroach on the lake with a dwelling, encroach on the lake with a deck, and exceed the allowable impervious surface. So just make sure that you're touching on all of those things as you're answering those questions, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is the request in harmony with the general purposes of the intent in Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comp Plan? Clint?
If we look at the whole thing and put everything in perspective here, we're looking at something that was here, it burnt down. They had the right to rebuild it. They missed that deadline. Maybe just not understanding that they could apply for the permit while they're doing cleanup, whatever. It's just a mishap. It happened or whatever. So now here we are. And they have the right to come through with a variance process. But when we look at what the land use ordinances and the comp plan state, we're really worried about protecting the lake and runoff with impervious surface and things like that. And, when you look at this from a common sense thing, it's like you don't want to put somebody out of their house, right? But then we have to follow the rules as close as we do. And I think with what you guys have been willing to do with lowering the impervious surface pretty much all the way around the yard. I think that helps a lot. You're not to where you need to be, but you're a lot closer, okay? So there's always room to improve. But I think, it helps mitigate with the willingness, with the condition, willingness to put a rock garden or a water plan. Putting gutters on and getting the water away from the lake, I think helps a lot. Also, when we look at the footprint's gonna be the same. You know, for that deck, yes, you're not gonna enclose it, but it's impervious surface, but that's concrete's there. So nothing really changes. With the design of the lot, actually, I don't think any water gets to the lake until after. You know, probably 8 feet in front of the deck. So all the water that's on this building site actually goes away from the lake, which is great. So that helps, I think, with some of it. You know, so that helps with water not running into the lake. So I think when we put everything together, the things that they're willing to do to make sure somebody don't really just get kicked out of their place to live, even though deadlines weren't made, we got all these rules. We're mitigating things. A lot of times mitigating things isn't the answer to everything. But I think when I look at the whole thing, I could say yes to question 1.
Okay, thank you, Clint. Any other board members want to add anything to it? Okay, question 2, is the applicant proposing using the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the land use ordinance? I'll take that one, and I agree with majority of what Clint says. When I first read this and looked at it, I said, wow, you had way too much impervious surface. You have a lot of buildings, a lot of area on that lot. And I'm sorry what you're going through, and things happen. And that's why we're here on this board, to hear this out and see both sides of the story. But with that being said, you were willing to lower the impervious surface down from 47 to 35. That says a lot. You're doing things, we had talked about some conditions, stormwater management plan, rain guttering it, and I did notice the same thing at Clint. It looked like the water is flowing away from Chamina Lake. So with that being said, I believe it's mitigating this, and it is in a reasonable manner you're trying to use this here. So I agree with it. Number 3, with the issuance of this variance, maintain the essential character of the locality. Brent?
I think it does. The cabins and lake homes that are in that area are very close to the water's edge. Many of them have probably been built in that same era, in the late 60s or 70s, I suppose. And that was kind of a trend before a lot of the ordinances came into effect and were enforced. So there is some tree coverage there, although I did see one tree that was probably lost by the fire from the house.
Like 4.
Yeah. I think from the roadside, it's probably not going to change much because you're going to drive up to the garage. On the lakeside, there's some trees that are in that impact area that are going to remain. And so from a standpoint of, maintaining the character of that locality, I think it does.
Okay, thanks, Brent. Is there any?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
I'd just
Clint.
like to add one thing, because I should have said it in question 1 also. Said P for question 3 and 1. With the road right-of-way, the Scandi Valley Township was notified about this, and they didn't say anything, so we're just gonna assume they're fine with it. But one thing I'd like to say is when we look at the essential character, if you look not only down that road, but a lot of these homes, lake homes in Scandi Valley, a lot of them encroach on the township road right away. And I can't remember in my time on this board when it's ever been a problem with the township of Scandia Valley. I can't speak for them, but just my experiences, it's never really a detriment to what the township thinks.
Okay, thanks, Clint. Anybody else have something to add? Okay, is there alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? George?
Yes, I believe so. So it kind of started with the fire, with everything, it was burned beyond the 50% mark. They had 180 days to obtain a building permit, which they did not. And I know she made the statement that, I think there was some contractor misinformation out there, and the applicant also had problems getting the destroyed debris from the house demoed because of special handling requirements of the debris. I think all that contributed to the alleged practical difficulty of this piece of property.
Thank you, George. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay, question 5. Is the need for the variance created by actions other than a landowner or prior landowners? Clint?
Part of it does fall on the landowner and the previous landowners, but I think the main part, what George kind of alluded to with the practical difficulty, was the fire, getting rid of some of that debris, because it just can't go to any landfill. Then it made them miss the deadline to get rebuilt. Now, yes, they could apply for a permit, but the applicants probably didn't understand that. That's what I'm assuming, that they didn't understand that. So I think, what really happened here was the fire and getting rid of the debris, and just not enough communication or whatever. So that'd be kind of my answer for that.
Thank you, Clint. Anybody else have something to add to that? So something else that I'd like to add to that is you talked to the contractor ended up making it sound like you could do this. And thank you for not just listening to the contractor, because we've had enough individuals after the fact, the contractor said they could do this. So you're forward thinking in being here. So number 6, does a alleged practical difficulty involve more than economic considerations? I'm going to take that one. I believe it does. This fire obviously has created some huge economic and emotional problems, and you're trying to do your best to make it right. And willing to go ahead and lower down the impervious surface, willing to go ahead and have a shoreline assessment done, seeing what you need to do, tells me that it does more than just economic considerations. Anybody else have anything else to add to that? Okay, with that being said, we'll go to the vote.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Clint.
could I just have Amy read the conditions when she gets a second here before we vote, so we're sure on what them are?
Mr. Chair, I've got 2 written down. The first one is that the home and garage shall be guttered and the water shall be directed towards the road. And then the other one is that the applicant shall implement a stormwater management plan that has been reviewed and approved by the Land Services Department.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, George.
one question, Amy, does, they've offered up the 1,051 square feet of impervious surface. Do we need to condition that, or is that going to be part of this application, or what?
So,
I guess.
Mr. Chair, the ask now is that they maintain 35% impervious surface. So right now, they're not at that, so they have not been given permission to maintain the 47.5.
Okay.
So, it'll probably take care of itself, but you can always ensure that happens and perhaps give a deadline within the conditions to ensure that gets done in a timely manner.
Okay, I would like to make a condition that they maintain a 35% impervious surface. And if you guys got an idea on a deadline within,
Year from the day.
Does a year from the date sound about right, Amy?
yeah, that would be
Does
fine
that
with
work
me.
for you guys?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's very reasonable. Any other questions from board members?
And then the other thing I was kind of thinking about, I know they offered up a 24-foot apron in front of the garage out to the road. I guess I would like to see that maintained, or does that impervious surface thing, or the condition on the impervious surface, does that take care of that?
As far as just maintaining the driveway, the width of the garage?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
That was part of their proposal on how to get down to the 35%.
Okay.
Was narrowing
Okay.
that, so
Okay.
that should.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, or are we good to go? Okay, with that being said, is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land and Use Ordinance and Comp Plan? Clint?
Yes, with the conditions.
Me, yes, with the conditions. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes, with the conditions.
Number 2, is the applicant proposing to use this property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the land use ordinance? I will take that, and I will say yes, also with the conditions. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes, with the conditions.
Number 3, will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
Number 5, is the need for the variance created by actions other than a landowner or prior landowners? Clint?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Number 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than just economic considerations? Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
We have all 6 that have been in the affirmative. Can I have a motion to approve this?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve this variance request with the 3 aforementioned stated conditions.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We
With
have
the
a,
3 conditions.
we have a motion made and seconded to approve this. I ask you to state aye if you agree. Brent?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Clint?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your variance has been approved. Please work with Land Services. If you got any questions here?
Thank you so much. I will go.
Thank you.
Yep.
I've never done this before. Will we get this in writing?
You will be mailed a copy of the findings.
Especially the water management thing. We don't know anything about that.
Yes, and just remember that you, when you're ready to build, you do still need to pull permits
Yeah.
to build, and you'll need to be working very closely with our shoreland specialist, because we want to make sure that you're meeting that floodplain
Yes.
regulation, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all so
Yep.
much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep, good luck with it. Get my bearings. Sorry about that. Our second one is Don Backen. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. Bakken, 26733 Sycamore Road, Hillman, Minnesota, 56338. Application for a variance to expand a non-conforming dwelling, construct a detached garage within the setback of the right-of-way and exceed the allowable impervious surface and located in point lot, government lot 4, section 4, township 42, range 28, Richardson Township. Okay, Don, I see you're at the table. Would you state your name and address for the record here?
And it's Dawn Bankin.
Bacon. Okay.
Bankin, yeah, you were close. Address is 26733 Sycamore Road, Hillman, Minnesota, 56338.
Okay. Could I get a staff report, please?
You bet, Mr. Chair. Again, this is a request to expand a non-conforming structure, construct a garage within setback to the right-of-way, and exceed allowable impervious surface. The ordinance sections for this is 705.6, and that has a maximum lot coverage of 25%. The setback from a general development lake is 75 feet. The shore impact zone of a general development lake is 50 feet. And the setback from the right-of-way is 30 feet. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue. And then here's some images from the lake. Then here is the survey that was submitted with the application. Then here's some site photos taken at the viewing on the 1st of August. The applicant proposes the following projects to expand the non-conforming dwelling by adding a 10 by 24 addition onto the southeast side of the dwelling. The addition itself would be 64 feet from the lake. Construct a detached 2-story garage with 0 setback to the road right-of-way. And exceed the impervious surface allowance. 25% is allowed, proposed is 32.6. Richardson Township has submitted a letter of support for the garage, and the applicant did not submit any stormwater or vegetation plans, but mentions in the application that the structure will be guttered and directed to rain barrels, and that a rain garden is being considered. And then here are criteria questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you. And for the record, I was out there Sunday, had a nice visit with Don, and I believe, Amy, were the rest of the staff visiting him on Friday? Okay, so we're aware of that. Is there any additions or corrections, or is anything you'd like to add to the staff report?
Only that, after I thought about the rain gutters, I'm still very willing to do that, but like George said, it might attract a lot of mosquitoes. But I think with the garage being so close to the road, that it probably could be directed that way also. So that's maybe another option for the gutters, to be directed towards the road rather than a rain gutter itself, or, a rain barrel.
Okay.
But that's it. I think that's the only addition that I really had.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make some observations here.
Okay, go ahead, George.
So I spent quite a bit of time studying this survey. So if you look at the survey, the road itself, when this was platted, the road is on the eastern boundary of her property, but the road ended up pretty much all on her property. So if we do some calculations here, so approximately 6,100 square feet of her parcel is Sycamore Road. And that's taking a calculation of 122 and a half square feet, or 122 feet by, I figured the township road is somewhere between 20 and 22 feet wide. So that comes to 6,100 square feet. And if you just subtract that 6,100 square feet off of the impervious surface, that impervious surface thing changes a lot. So that is a problem with this lot, is that where the road ended up being compared to where it should have been. She's even got her neighbor's driveway on here that is part of her impervious surface calculation across the road. And my guess is all these lots along here are gonna have the same problem. So that's just an observation that I made when I was studying this.
Thank you, George. Anybody else from the board have any questions at this time?
I got one for Dawn. She probably don't like it.
Go ahead, Clint.
So you moved here, what, a year and a half ago?
Yes.
Okay. So when you bought this, why didn't you buy something that would fit you more than now a year and a half later you want to add something to it?
Sure. Last year, I went through breast cancer and a divorce. And so in the divorce, I chose to leave my home and move to the lake. And so that really wasn't supposed to be my home, per se. It was supposed to be recreational, but at this point, that's my home for now. And with that, I need a garage. I did survive one winter out there without a garage, but it's a little rough.
Anything else, Clint, at this time?
Yeah, so you did tell us Friday, but can you again go through your addition on your house, what that would be for?
Sure. So the house inside, all the mechanics are in the bathroom, like the washer and the dryer, the water heater, the pump, and all of that. And my goal was to maybe get that out of the center of the house and move it to an outside location. And that was the only place to put that, because the well, as we looked at, was right up next to the house. So I really only have that much room unless I wanted to move the well, and I really don't want to do that.
Yeah, I have nothing else right now.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
thank you, Clint. George? go
I do
ahead.
have another question. So the garage was going to be a two-story? Am I correct on that?
Yes.
So there's not going to be living quarters in there, is there?
No, it's just some extra storage in the house. Right now, it's a main bedroom and then a little bedroom with a corner closet, so
Okay.
storage is really what I need. And I can't go out, so they said I could go up.
So,
I would
so-
prefer to go out instead of up. I don't like the steps, but I'm,
so the other building that is south of the house, is that also storage?
that little shed that's there?
Yes.
Yeah, but that will, I'll move that out.
Well, that's going to disappear.
Yeah,
Okay.
that will go away when I get the garage, or if I get the garage, I should say.
So
Mr.
was
Chair,
that-
is it this one you're
little
talking
one,
about?
Yep.
That one there, but there's another one south of the house.
Oh, that one.
Yes,
This one right here?
yes, that one, yep.
Okay, so that is on a foundation.
Okay,
I would prefer to keep that.
I was just asking.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the whole thing here.
Yeah.
And then, let me see here once, so I guess, looking at this, if this would come to fruition, I guess, I'd be looking at some conditions, the house and the new building would be guttered away from the lake, because pretty much everything slopes towards the lake there, and when we were walking around the back of the house, it is very wet there, and
Yeah.
and
It's been
the township uses the road ditch right away as a drainage ditch, which then drains to a drainage ditch on the north side of your property that goes to the lake. So all that stuff there, it's a very wet lot,
Yeah, we've had
And
a
then-
lot of rain this year. It's wet.
Yeah, then the other question on that, did you get this house as part of the divorce settlement? Is that how you ended up there? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, George. Any other questions at this time? Okay, I've got a couple here, and when I visited, you talked about the rain gutters, and as you probably heard on our previous one, we talked about the shoreline assessment, and theirs were running away from the lake, yours is running towards the lake. And that does pose a problem, as I mentioned to you. What we'd like to go ahead and see is that water being filtered and doing that. And here, you've got 29, almost 30%, 29.9 impervious surface, and you're proposing to raise it to 32.6. We generally don't like going over 25, and here we are. And as the previous ones came here and they offered to lower their impervious surface, even though they were quite high. And here, my question is, what are you going to do to mitigate this addition, increasing this impervious surface? Or do you have other plans to lower possibly the impervious surface?
As far as taking something away,
Yes, it would have to do that, or,
Okay.
yeah, like
I mean-
I mentioned before, stormwater management assessment plan, and then you'd have to have it done and recommend what would, if we would do this, you can say throw rain gutters on, but if they're not ran in the right way and done in the proper manner, and you're not really accomplishing a whole lot.
Sure, so I'm happy to have the rain gutters installed however it fits best. I'm also willing to do the rain garden. We talked about a rain garden in the front of the house off the deck, right before the lake, to catch a lot of that rainwater.
As we like to see that water filtered before it goes into these lakes. And
Yeah.
somehow, and as George pointed out, and as I could see, very low area, a lot
Yeah.
of water there,
Sure.
and it creates some issues, so. Any other questions at this time? Go ahead, Jay.
Amy, is there maybe I got it here, I'm drawing a blank on it. I flipped through it, I'm looking for the building envelope on this particular one.
I believe in my staff report, I don't think the surveyor showed one.
Amy, if I may, I think the building envelope on this is gonna be pretty much where the road is.
I said, in the staff report, there is a small building envelope, however, the surveyor did not quantify it. So, there is a small one, and I didn't highlight it. And the surveyor didn't pull it out, but I can zoom in here and, show you.
If I'm looking at it right, it looks like it's between the setback lines, would be between the proposed
So,
garage and.
yes, so if you look, this green line here is a 75-foot setback. Or no, I'm sorry, that's 64. 75 is right here, and then here's the road setback. So it would be this strip right here is the building envelope.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, George.
so the tricky part about this is, being on a township board, the township road isn't where the township road's supposed to be. But the township road is where it is, and that so still qualifies as a township road, even though it's not where it's supposed to be.
Yep, and they still have a right-of-way.
Yep, and they still have a right of way. So that is a problem with this lot, the way it's laid out, yes.
And with that being said, did we hear anything from the township, or?
Yes, the township did submit a letter of support, and that was in your packet.
Okay, I thought so, but I just to reaffirm that, and Don made it, clarified that also. So here we have the township which is supportive of it. Any other questions at this time?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Clint.
I just wanted to state that I'm not so concerned with the garage, in the township right away, because the township, like George said, the road's not where it's supposed to be, but it is a road and you gotta have a setback. And I'm assuming that the township realizes that and they're fine with this going through. My concern more is with the addition. So for me to really think hard on this and have any chance for me to say yes to some of these questions coming up, I would definitely want to see a condition that we have a stormwater plan and do something up front. Your shoreline is really nice because you do have a lot of, there's weeds and cattails and it's protected for the
Yep.
most part. But, and then also a condition that the house be guttered and it be guttered away from the lake. And I believe when they do the stormwater plan, they can address that at that time. So I don't know if that has to be all in one or if it can be two.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Amy.
A lot of times with a stormwater plan, they're going to look at movement of the water across the landscape, and sometimes gutters are recommended as part of that. So I'm thinking that just a stormwater plan, and then if they identify that the structure or structures should be guttered to help direct that, then that would come out in that plan.
I agree with that. Thank you, Clint. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Brent.
just my observations from being out there as well, and I too am not opposed to a garage in this area with the township not objecting to it, with the township road going through there and taking up some of the potential buildable use of that original lot. But considering where the building envelope is, we're not in that building envelope. We're within the 75 feet to the water's edge, and we're attaching to a non-conforming structure, increasing the square footage of that non-conforming, all completely within the setback to the lake. And so that's, I too, just like Clint, have a hard time struggling with that addition. Just my comments.
Okay, thank you. And so, as I looked at it, where the well and the septic is, you couldn't really put a garage onto the house the way you'd like to. So you were thinking that, and us as a board, we have to consider, okay, you're in a shoreline protected area. You want to add to it. This home, we just recently purchased it. And I know you're stuck in a situation but this variance goes to the land. So with that being said, I think I also have a problem addition with that, but with the garage, I think everybody has a right to go ahead, especially in Minnesota, be able to protect your vehicle and be able to leave without having to go ahead and shovel a pile of snow or whatever you have to deal with that. But with this, you're increasing impervious surface, and you're not really proposing doing something another way. So that may be an issue. But these are just my comments, and it sounds like other board members have comments to it also.
So unfortunately, may I speak?
Go ahead.
Okay. If this road hadn't gone through, the impervious surface would not be an issue, because I would have enough impervious surface with the entire lot without any buildings on it. Is that correct?
That is correct, but the road was there before you bought the property, and you knew what you're getting yourself into. That's the other part of it.
Yeah, I guess didn't know that, though. That wasn't, yeah. That was not brought up when we purchased the land, or if we didn't.
Okay,
Maybe we should have looked further, yeah.
okay.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Clint.
Don, so you have any other thoughts or any other way that you could do something without putting that addition on that house?
That little, like the utility room
Yeah.
type thing? I don't have anywhere else to go with it, no. I wish I did. I'm open to suggestions, if you have any suggestions.
No, I'm not really suggesting. I'm just
Okay.
asking that, if there's another way that you can do your washer and dryer or whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
you said you were to do, because I think we're struggling with the addition. I think if you can read between the lines that we're struggling with that, and we're seeming a little more open to the garage.
Sure.
So I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, if you had any other, if there's any other way that you've thought of doing something in that dwelling without adding the addition, is where I'm getting at.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I have that option.
Do public comment?
Yeah, so at this time, we're going to ask for some public comment. Anyone from the audience would like to come forward and have something to say about this variance? Anybody from the audience like to come forward and speak on this here variance? Third and final, anyone from the audience like to speak on this? Okay, public comment is closed. At this point, we have to vote what you brought forward.
Yep.
Unless you want to amend, as you can see where individuals are going.
Sure.
So with that being said, do you want to amend what you're asking for, or ask exactly what you brought forward?
Oh, okay, no, I mean, so you're asking me, am I okay to drop off the addition and just do the garage? Is that amending that?
Go ahead, Amy.
Mr. Chair, what he's asking is, they're gonna consider the entire request.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, the vote, you certainly can amend your request and ask them to consider only a portion of it.
Okay,
But that's up to you.
okay. So it's all or nothing, basically. All right.
Unless you amend your request.
Then, from what I understand and the vibe that I'm getting, I think I would like to amend and request the garage.
Okay, so you want to amend your request to remove the home addition and ask the Board of Adjustment to consider just the detached garage?
Yes.
Okay.
And the impervious surface would,
Then the impervious surface would drop a little bit. It would still be over.
but you wouldn't be increasing it very little, if anything.
Let me do some math.
Looks like 240 square feet is the addition, right?
Okay, so let me just back that out here. Give me just a second to do that.
Sometimes it's tough being in this position, but we have ordinances we need to follow, and
Sure.
there's step-by-step process.
I
And
understand. Well, and the garage is important.
Mr. Chair, we'd be at 31 and a half.
So it doesn't increase it a whole lot, but it's something. So we have, Donna had requested to amend it, so we'd be voting on just the addition of the garage. With that being said, I would like to ask that we, that these questions here, unless Clint, you have something?
I just wanted to state that even with the amended, what she amended for this application, I would still like that condition that Amy wrote down with the
With the
stormwater.
stormwater plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that'll help mitigate the impervious surface being over. Okay.
All right, so Mr. Chair, what you're going to be considering is a detached garage with a 0 setback to the road right-of-way and to continue 31.5% impervious surface.
Okay. Is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent in Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comp Plan? I will take that. At first, I didn't believe it was, but her willingness to not hardly increase the impervious surface and to go through a stormwater management plan here, it actually mitigates some of the adjustments, and having a garage, and basically, we look in Minnesota living in environment, it's almost a necessity. So with that being said, I agree that it is in harmony. Is the applicant, or does anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay. Number 2, is the applicant proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the last land use ordinance? Brent?
They're proposing to add a garage now at this point, with the other off the table. And I think it's reasonable to have a request for a garage in this day and age and area. You live on a lake, you got to have a reasonable place to store property and things that you have accumulated for the use and enjoyment of that property. So in that regard, it's a reasonable request and ask. The ask here is for a 0 setback to the road right-of-way. I think it's reasonable in this particular request because of the township road going basically through the property and taking up some of that usable area. The township has been notified. The township has told us that they're okay with that 0 setback from the road right-of-way. And so I think it's all reasonable at this point.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to also add, because of the location of the septic and the location of well, this is probably the only reasonable place to place that garage. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay. Question 3, is the issuance of this variance maintain the essential character of the locality? George?
Yes, I believe so. If you look up and down Sycamore Road, I've been on quite a few of those lots out there, and most of the lots contain a small cabin and a detached garage. And also, all those lots also have the road dissecting their lot, which is an inconvenience for all the homeowners in that area. So I believe that, yes, this addition of a garage at zero clearance from the road right-of-way will maintain the essential character of the locality.
Anybody else have anything additional to add to that? I will point out the old drive-by theory. When you drive through it, because of the trees and the location at the very end, you would hardly notice that garage being in that location from the lake and from the road a little bit, but very little. So I think it shouldn't be a problem. Is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property, Clint?
Yes, if you look at where the well is positioned and the septic system is positioned, and then also the way the road got put in there and actually got put on this applicant's land, I'm wrong. That's legal now, but that really puts a damper on where they can build anything. So I think that's the biggest practical difficulty here, and then also that ties into the practical difficulty also of the impervious surfaces. That some of your buildable area is taken away, so the impervious surface is going to be a higher percentage because of that. So that's what my practical difficulty is for this application.
Okay, thank you, Clint. Anybody else have something to add to it? Is the need for the variance created by actions other than a landowner or prior landowners? The way I view this is the need for this variance is a few things. One is Minnesota winters. Number 2 is that township road where it was placed. And I think we struggle with that, all of us, but it was there when you get there. But that's the need for it is because of these issues. Anybody else have anything additional to add to that? Number 6, does alleged practical difficulty involve more than economic considerations? Brent?
I think, with this one, we're looking at a lot of different things. We're looking, as Clint said, in the number 4 with the alleged practical difficulty, it's impervious surface, it's road placement, it's road right-of-way, it's the location of the well, the sewer, even the dwelling location on the property because of maybe where the road came through, and that road dissecting some of the property. All of that is in addition to the economic considerations, so it involves more than just economics.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything additional to add? With that, going forward, we'll go to the vote. Number 1, is the request in harmony with the, well, first, before we go to the vote, we have a condition there. Would you read that off there, Amy, please?
I have one condition, Mr. Chair, and that would be that a stormwater plan shall be submitted, reviewed, and approved by Land Services and then implemented by the property owner.
Okay, thank you. Board members, consider that as your vote here. Is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and the comp plan? I will take that and I say yes. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes, with the condition?
Clint?
With the condition and the township's letter, I'll say yes.
Okay. Number 2, is the applicant proposing use of the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by a land use ordinance? Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Number 3, with the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of locality? George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
Number 4 is alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property. Clint?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Number 5, is the need for the variance created by actions other than a landowner or prior landowners? Myself, yes. Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Number 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than economic considerations? Brent?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
And myself, yes. All 6 have been in affirmative. Can I get a motion to approve this?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the variance with the one condition that we heard.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded by to approve this. Signify by stating you agree by aye. Brent?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Clint?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your variance has been approved. Be in contact with Land Services, and good luck with it.
Thank you. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Our third one this evening is Adam and Hannah Habig, 11883 North Highway 238, Little Falls, Minnesota, 56345. Application for a variance to expand a Tier 2 feedlot with the setbacks to a property line located in a northeast 1/4 Section 2, Township 128, Range 30, Swan River Township. Would Hannah and Adam please come forward?
I have a letter from AC.
Oh, wonderful. Can I keep it?
Yep.
Okay.
There's one for everybody.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, where am I at here? Come on here, get my. It's almost my first time. Yeah, I got every. Okay, sorry about that. I had a few things to get in order here. Would you state your names for the record and your address, please?
Adam Hebig, 11883 North Highway 238, Little Falls, Minnesota, 56345.
Hannah Hebig, 11883 Highway 238, Little Falls, Minnesota, 56345.
Okay, thank you. Amy, would you give us the staff report, please?
You bet, Mr. Chair. This is a request to expand to a Tier 2 dairy feedlot within setback to a property line. The ordinance requirement is that animal holding areas be 200 feet from the property line. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue. And then here's some oblique imagery. And then here's a site drawing provided by the applicant. And then here is the aerial photograph, again with the zoning layer turned on. Then here are some site photos taken at the viewing. So a registered Tier 1 dairy feedlot exists, and the applicant recently purchased the farm and has been managing a few issues. There was an overage in animal units, which the applicant removed to comply with Tier 1 numbers. Also, the previous owner and feedlot operator illegally established animal holding areas within buildings that were permitted for personal storage within shoreland zoning. The current owner is aware of this and has discontinued those buildings for animal holding. The applicant intends to increase the animal units to Tier 2 status, and this will be accomplished by adding to the west end of the existing freestall barn and expanding the existing manure pit. And then also what I emailed to you today is also expanding the pen pack building. None of those currently meet the 200-foot setback from the north property line. The pen pack is 4 feet from the property line. The freestall barn is 40 feet, and the manure pit is 100 feet. The applicant requests a variance to expand to the Tier 2 feedlot numbers and expand those existing non-conforming animal holding areas. None of the expansions would further encroach on that property line. If this is approved, the applicant will request the Tier 2 expansion with a conditional use permit, and then that's where you'll see the details of manure storage and management. And then here are your criteria questions, Mr. Chair. I will add that the Hebigs did, we were out at the viewing, and let me get back to, I'm gonna get back to an aerial photo here. When we were out at the viewing, these two buildings here had been, animals had been removed out of those, or were in shoreland, weren't permitted for animal holding. So this has been taken care of. This building is what we're talking about, the pen pack building. There were still cattle in there, and the applicant was understanding that they could or wanted to keep that. However, that wasn't conveyed in their application. So they've, even though it wasn't in their application, they've amended it. It doesn't really change. It's still an encroachment on the property line, so it's not a different ask than what was advertised. And so essentially this building would remain, and then addition to the west, this would addition to the west, and then the manure pit then would be expanded as they grow in animal numbers. Make sense? Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and as you heard or knew, that 4 of these were at the Friday viewing, and I had a nice visit with Hannah on Sunday, so we were all able to visit the site like that. With that being said, with the staff report, what Amy read, you have any additions or corrections or anything you'd like to add to that?
Not as of right now, no.
Okay, I'm guessing there's going to be some questions going forward. Amy?
And Mr. Chair, the applicant did submit a comment letter from Alan Check, which is the neighbor to the north. I'll read that into the record. I am Alan Check, neighbor of Adam and Hannah Hebig. I am not able to attend their variance meeting on the 5th. I have been the neighbor to their property since before Adam and Hannah owned it, back when Adam's family were owners of the farm. I own to the west of their property and to the north along the river. Adam came to me a few months ago and mentioned getting variances for moving up tiers, and I told him I have no problem with that. Dairy farms are all over in the area, and Adam and Hannah's farm fits right in. They have been cleaning up the place since they took over a few years ago. They have been working hard, and their genetics are improving so they can have all their own cattle and do not need to purchase any. While they do need to grow some, they plan on keeping it a reasonable sized family farm. They are currently raising the 5th generation on the home farm and want to be able to keep passing it down. As farms grow, sometimes they have problems managing their cattle, keeping things clean, and controlling their manure. However, this is not the case for Adam and Hannah. They do an exceptional job of all these things. As stated above, it does not bother me that Adam and Hannah farm too close to the property line. They do not plan to encroach any further with any addition they plan to do to their farm. I fully support Riverside Dairy LLC in their change of tiers and variance for being too close to the property line.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, any questions by board members at this time?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Clint.
I just got one, Amy, just clarify for this one and maybe future, so that H and I, you stated that they're withdrawn off of this because they weren't permitted, right? Is that just that case, or is it because they're in shoreline, or what is that rule?
H and I, so the,
They're the ones that he
Yep.
abandoned already.
yep, the circumstances around that are twofold. Had those buildings been legally established way back as animal holding areas, the fact that they are in shoreland wouldn't have made a difference. Because they'd have a right to have what they had always had, they just wouldn't be able to expand anything in that area. But because those buildings were not permitted for animal holding and they're in shoreland, we kind of had a double issue there. And so, because new feedlots are not allowed within shoreland, that's why that was kind of a no-go zone for those two buildings to continue to be used as animal holding.
Okay, so I understand that, but over time, this is just a question.
Yeah.
So like on my farm, I had a shed built in 1982. It's a machine shed. I bought it in 93. It had cattle in it from 1993 until about 5 years ago, and it was permitted to be a machine shed. So things change on the farms, and just because something was built one way, I understand in shoreline's probably different. But, so that's why I want to, some of these things, so if you build anything on a farm, you basically better say it's for livestock, even though you're going to put machinery in it. You know, I mean.
Well, and then we'd be applying the setbacks that would, if you're gonna identify it as an animal holding area, then we would do two things. We would look at the total number of animal units that you can accommodate with all of that space, and then also we'd be paying attention to the setbacks, and treat them as animal holding areas as far as for siting them.
Okay, because if it makes sense with the shoreline, but it's just because they were permitted differently 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 30 years ago, from a practicality standpoint, don't make much sense to me. But being in the shoreline, it does,
It'd be the
especially
same
when.
thing. I don't see it any different than a boathouse that functioned as a boathouse and then now miraculously it's a guest cottage. It wasn't legally established that way. So it doesn't really matter if we're talking about a shed that held hay or a boathouse that was supposed to hold a boat. It's really the same when it comes from a zoning standpoint.
Okay. So I guess question for Adam and Hannah would be, in that G that you added, what's the animal units that's in there? Or just say how many head you got
There's
in, I guess.
25 milk
20.
cows in there.
25, so
Yep.
we're looking at 25 animal units, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. Guess that was my biggest thing, is I was just wondering why, just because it wasn't permitted, that I just know for my own future, then everything's gonna be a cow barn.
Well, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead,
I
Amy.
think that's too, when we're extending rights to someone, so if these things were legally established and they were expanding to the top of their tier, then they would have rights to use those if they had been legally established, and so that's why we have to do that research work.
Okay, thanks, Clint. Anything else? Okay,
Mr. Chair, I'll just say,
Go ahead,
I'll
Brent.
wait for any public comment, and then we'll go from there.
okay,
Same here.
okay. Before we go to public comment, I'm very familiar with property. I only live a few miles away from there. And for a few years, I used to rent the bordering property to the Rudolphs. I used to keep my cattle in there. And that basically got shut down because the DNR said that we had to fence Swan River because my cows were not allowed to cross Swan River at that time. So I had to pull my cattle and understand. But, so I'm very familiar with the property, and as I drive by frequently, as Alan Check had stated, your other neighbor, you're doing your best cleaning it up, as Peter had it before he was a bachelor, and he did the best he could with it, but as I've noticed right along, you're doing a great job cleaning it up, things that were issues, and you're doing your best to do it while you can afford it. So it's nice to see you're trying to bring things in conformity and trying to go ahead and make this work. And my hat's off for a young generation farmer wanting to take over, which will be, I think, 5th generation, which is absolutely huge. But with that being said, when it's time to go to public comment, is there any public comment at this time? Please state your name and
Address? Yeah, John Holtz, 11946 92nd Avenue, Little Falls.
okay, thank you.
I'm here to support him. I guess a couple of things that you guys probably should know. Adam was at the farm since he was 12 years old. He ended up taking over the farm when his uncle passed away. So some of these things on permitting buildings and stuff like that, he was not aware of them. It is a young family farm. We've been working with them for 15 years. They do a great job. My question is, and I didn't even discuss this with Adam, is it possible to put condition on them 2 buildings that are vacated right now, a short-term condition until he gets through his growing phase here for a year or so? Them buildings are curbed. There's no manure runoff. I guess that'd be up to him. I think he could still use them short-term in his planning process to expand. I know I was over there the other night. His kids are 100% farmers. They always want to go on a 4-wheel drive and 4-wheeler ride and check on corn. And they do help feed calves. So if he could possibly put calves back in there, he has little hands throughout the winter that can help feed calves instead of out in the cold. Like I said, it's up to him. I didn't discuss it with him. So maybe consider putting a condition for short-term use on 2 buildings that are vacated today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Is there any other public comment at this time? Third and final time, is there any additional public comment at this time? With that being said, can you answer John's question here?
So we had a couple of issues with this. One, to avoid asking for an after-the-fact variance because they were over in numbers, they were already at tier 2 numbers. So they reduced their animal units down. So this would be heard as a front-end discussion. So there's a little bit more to it than just cattle in the shoreland area. They had already established tier 2 numbers. And that was something that we had discussed, that it was in their best interest to reduce their numbers so they weren't coming to you with an after-the-fact request and having to bear the expense of an after-the-fact request. So I'm reluctant to do that because we have a few things going on, and there's going to have to be a long-term solution to not using those animal holding areas anyway. So that's, I guess, my answer.
So does that answer your questions, Adam and Sarah? Or Hannah, excuse me. Okay, with that being said, any board members got any more additional questions at this time?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
So I guess I just want to clarify, and so we know what we're actually going to be looking at today and voting on. So they added that 1 building in, but when I'm reading through the packet and what they're kind of proposing is, so then that would basically be the new line, and if they wanted to add on to them buildings, they'd be able to, is that correct?
So, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Amy.
So how it's framed is they're not going to be able to bring the entire farm up to 4 feet away from the property line. So what it would do is it would allow this to remain as an animal holding area and to expand this one to the west in line, no further encroachment. This one to remain within setback and to be able to expand this one to the west when the time comes. And then this to remain not meeting setback and it also to be able to expand.
Okay, so let's just say for,
So he could expand to the top of the tier 2
Yep.
with, with whatever construction he's gonna undertake to accommodate those animal units with this variance.
okay, so I understand you could add on to both buildings.
Yes.
Okay, but if you add on, let's say they add on 100 feet west with both of them, can they get close together?
I don't know if it's just a simple cattle lane. I don't know that if it was just something simple.
I'm just asking because
Yeah, I
if
think
you're gonna, to me, if you're gonna add on to that little building and go to the west, and if you're gonna add on to the barn at the same time, you'd be better off just adding on. I mean, they can do whatever they want. I just wanted to understand.
I would think we'd be as flexible as we can with them without overstepping.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
So if I wanted to, I could not hook them two barns together and go west. They would have to be individually. Like put one roof over the top of both of them barns.
Well, then you'd be expanding that barn to the south, farther to the north. So that's why laying this out for your application is really, really important because now we're designing something on the fly here. So I think if you want it to look different, we'd need to come in and amend whatever you're asking here. So, a couple of things. If you want to go back and kind of come with a better design, we can continue this under this fee and do that, or they're going to vote on what you've proposed in your application, which would be expanding those individually.
So basically, you could expand that little one to the west.
Yep.
And you could go south with it. But the south barn, you can't expand north.
So we could take the roof off of the south barn and put a roof over the top of the north barn and go, say we wanted to go west.
I'm
As long as it don't touch the other barn. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Mr. Chair, I think I'm not gonna, I can't promise anything. My understanding is what you've put in front of us. Anything alternative, we're gonna have to noodle through it. Because we've already deviated once.
Okay.
You've
Okay.
amended it once, and now we're looking at almost redesigning it again right here at the hearing. So, so I would say if you are looking for more flexibility than what this particular variance will allow you, then I would, if you want to rearrange or clarify what it is that your end game would be for what this looks like, then I would recommend that we continue it and you redesign and then come back and have that. The variance ask is gonna be the same. You're still gonna be encroaching on that northern property line.
Correct.
But, with all of this, you've said that you're not further encroaching on anything, and now we're hearing proposal for that barn to go farther to the north. So, and up until a few hours ago,
Right,
that
yep.
one wasn't even gonna be considered. So, I just wanna make sure that we're very clear on what this variance is, so in the future, when you wanna do it, there's no questions.
Okay.
So I guess it's up to you if you'd like to hit the pause button, or if you would like them to vote on what you've got in front of them.
So you obviously see what you have, and a lot of discussion, there may be some more questions here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And if you bring too much, that many
Right,
variances.
Yeah,
And one thing I'll say as far as, I don't know what kind of timeline you're on, but when is the next hearing is the 2nd of, and that agenda is full. So, we would probably not be able to put this back on until the 19th of September.
19th of September, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should hit the pause button, because we're probably gonna have to redraw some stuff so
Yeah.
that everybody's
So
on
I think that,
the same page.
and I think that'll serve you well long-term if you are able to do that. The 16th of September.
I didn't mean to jam this up. The only reason I asked that is because this is a little different, but like some of them open lots we did, it kind of changed that circle. That's why I asked that
You've given
question.
him some ideas on design and future design, and that's okay. So, so what we would do is, if you're requesting to continue it, then I would need a, motion from, a board member in a second to continue this, to the September 16th meeting. And then in between, then we'd be working, Colette, would be working with you on kind of what your long-term plan is to
Okay.
make sure that this variance accommodates that.
Accommodates the long-term plan,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, I believe that you can come in, and if this gets approved, then you need another one. It's going through the whole process again.
Right, yeah.
But so it looks like you put a lot of thought in this, but, you know.
We gotta go
here,
farther, yeah.
Depends where you want to go with this here, but yeah, if you want it tabled for another meeting, obviously you have that right. And so, or did you want to go out in the hallway, discuss it, or do you want to, right now, decide what you want to do?
Well, I think we should,
So can I ask a question? Just to
Absolutely.
clarify, when I rewrote this to amend it and send it to you today, when I put in there that we were joining together the freestall and the current bed pack building in the next 2 to 5 years, what do I need to say so that, to make that clear that we're not gonna, we would
Yep.
like to join them but not encroach on that property line
Got it.
any farther?
I think we'll just need to work together on a site drawing that kind of shows what it looks like now and what you're looking to
what we're planning to do,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, George.
so I've just got a question here. So when you're talking about joining these two buildings, are you talking about joining them with a walkway, a covered walkway, or are you talking about joining them
That's what we need to
With-
discuss.
with a whole new building over the top of everything?
That's what we need.
Okay.
That's the
Okay,
question.
I just want a clarification here. Yeah, okay. I gotcha.
So we'll shake that out and we'll have those details for you on the 16th.
Then I'll make a motion to continue this hearing to September 16th, 2025.
Oh, before we go, that looks like Brent, you had a question there or not?
I'm here to second that motion.
Okay, so we had a motion to have a continuance on this, and we have a second. All in favor to continue this to the September, what do you say,
16th.
16th meeting? State by stating aye if you approve. Brent?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Aye.
Myself, aye. So we'll ask for a continuance, and obviously, stay in touch with Land Services.
Yep.
And
Yep, so I think Colette, are you able to reach out tomorrow? Okay.
Okay.
So we'll get it figured out.
Okay, thank you and good luck with that. So with that being said, have any of you read through the previous minutes?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the July 22nd minutes.
I will second that. All in favor state by saying aye.
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 Myself, aye. Is there anything additional to this meeting?
I do
Old
not
new business?
have,
Anybody going to training Thursday,
It's,
but me?
it'll be, so for PCBOA members, it's just you, but then it'll be myself and Sharon and Darren.
Okay.
So if you want to ride with us, you're more than welcome, or just meet you there, whichever you'd
There,
prefer.
I'll talk to you after the meeting, but,
Yep. So any highlights that we get from that, we'll definitely bring back and share with the rest of you.
yeah, because I think they're talking about solar, so that's what
Yeah,
kind of
there-
intrigued me, so.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be some interesting stuff in cannabis, and we're gonna have some cannabis stuff starting here pretty soon, so, I think it'll be good.
Okay, then one other thing I had, just want to know head count, who's going to be here for the next meeting? Because that
For
one I
the
can't, I have
next
to step out of one of them.
meeting, oh, yes, so that is the 2nd of September, no, the 19th of August. Will everybody be here
Well,
on the
so
19th?
Here's the situation. So it starts with Brent, I think you were.
I had travel plans, but those travel plans got changed, so I will be here.
Okay,
Okay, well, so being his travel plans have changed, I will not. We need to go to the Mayo Clinic
okay,
on that day.
okay.
So,
And I have not been told that John's not gonna be here, so we will have a quorum.
so
Okay.
we'll have a quorum. That's what I was concerned about.
Yep, because for that one item. Well, Clint's just gonna recuse for one item,
Just for one, it's my daughter.
yeah. So we'll be good.
And if it does get to be a problem, let me know because
I will.
we have been trying to get somebody to go with my wife down there.
Got it. Yep,
I just want to make sure, because I know Brent talked about travel and stuff, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure we had a quorum, that's
Thanks,
all.
Brent.
Okay, so we got that taken care of.
so otherwise, I don't think I have any other business.
So with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor by stating aye.
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 Myself, aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:48.